The Alabama powers that be have made a huge decision.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luke Robinson. That's Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein, and this is Locked On Bama. We're going to get to the roster countdown. We're into the scholarship dudes now. So I mean, we love giving the walk-ons their flowers. We're into the scholarship dudes now, and we're going to give some flowers to the softball team who moves on to play in the SEC tournament. But we're going to start with a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and that's future non-conference scheduling. And Alabama and Ohio State have agreed they will play next year in 2028. Alabama is dropping Oklahoma State. I guess, Jimmy, first of all, I think this is – I don't know if it's the right – part of me is like, yeah, this is the right move because I'm looking forward to that. For those who follow this podcast, you know that I have 3 children that grew up in Columbus, Ohio, very familiar with the area. It'll be a fun trip for all our fans. Everything's great. But all you have to do is look at Texas last year and see that you go up there and you lose by 7, and then you lose 2 other conference games, which isn't crazy, and you get no bonus points for it. But then I say, okay, but by the time we play this game, this thing's probably expanded to 24 teams, so it may not hurt us at all. But then I think this is going to be a lot of but thens. But then I think, well, the game really doesn't mean that much anymore. You know, I mean, it's like I don't know. I like it because I like watching big boys play. That's what I like. Y'all can have. Again, no offense to anybody. If people love watching Fresno take on Southern Miss, God bless you. I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. I think this is a different animal. And so, yeah, I'm excited about it. At the same time, I'm wondering, you know, is this the right move for Alabama long term, or Ohio State, or any blue blood program?
Well, a couple of things have changed since my last few rants about this, because I do rant about it quite a bit. What's changed for me is the 2014 playoff, which I know is not official, and heck, I don't even know if there's a vote scheduled on it, but it just seems like we are speeding towards the imposition of the 2014 playoff. So with that coming, it has, I wouldn't say changed my stance, but lessened it. I was very adamant. I would have been, because I don't speak out against Alabama or decisions made by Alabama very often. Most of the time I understand. I'm very understanding, even if I disagree, I'm understanding. But I would have been pretty adamant that keeping the Ohio State game under the current format would have been a huge mistake. It would have been saying I care more about playing Ohio State in the regular season than making the playoffs. I'm all about making the playoffs myself. I think in a 2014 playoff, it really doesn't matter. You can lose to Ohio State and still, I would say easily, that's not the right word, but you can lose to Ohio State and it's not going to knock you out of a 2014 playoff. It will be losses to other lesser teams that knock you out. So I'm not upset about keeping Ohio State because of the 2014 playoff under the current format and the current way the playoff selection committee does its business. I would have been loudly saying it was a huge mistake to keep the game. But with 24 teams, I don't care. Now, as far as cutting Oklahoma State, 2014 playoff, you got room for error, but let's not get suicidal here. And I saw one person comment somewhere. I'm sure there's been a lot of these comments, but I just happened to see one that says, oh, great, now we're scared of Oklahoma State. Good Lord. No, if you're scared of Oklahoma State, you're scared of Ohio State. What it is you can't play a really good opponent for 12 straight weeks. You cannot do that to these kids anywhere. It's suicidal. And having an 11th Power 4 opponent would have just been nuts. It just would have been nuts. It would have been a way to, I'm not saying, hey, there's certain injuries but you can't do that. We will have, does anybody doubt that Alabama's schedule next year, 2027 and 2028, might be the toughest schedule in all of college football? And now people are upset that it's not even harder. Are those same people the ones that want to fire the coach for going 9-3?
They are.
I know that they are. That's why I said it. So I'm not. And by the way, as an aside, that doesn't mean anything, and it has no effect here. I do think Oklahoma State is a program that's about to quickly improve. I think
they are.
Eric Morris was one of the better hires of the cycle, in my opinion.
Got a good quarterback and a good running back to transfer in, and some other good quarterbacks.
I would go so far as to say a Heisman quarterback. I'm not saying Drew Mestamaker is going to win the Heisman. I'm saying he's going to be in that mix. Top 10, top 15. Mestamaker's a really good player. He's an excellent NFL prospect, in my opinion, too. So Oklahoma State's on the way up. That has nothing to do with canceling the game. The game is, hey, one of these two has to be canceled. A shout out to Alabama for keeping the tougher game. But
and
one of them had to go.
And Ohio State, I think, is now. Yep. That whole thing about we're scared of Ohio State. I mean, it's so dumb. I can't even. I really almost don't want to address it, except to say that's just dumb. And if I have to explain that to you, I hate it when people in politics they say, "Well, I hate so and so." Well, why do you hate him? What exactly did you do? Well, if I have to explain it, then you're too dumb. That's always a cop out. In this particular case, it's not a cop-out. If you really think that Alabama's scared of Oklahoma State, we have no starting point to go against. So, and I think you're right. And here's the thing. Maybe we're arguing about the wrong stuff. Because I look at it like last year, for instance, everybody goes, Texas would be in if they hadn't lost to Ohio State. And that's true. And then somebody will come back and say, well, they shouldn't have lost to Florida either. True, but you can't do anything about your
They had to play Florida. They chose to play Ohio State.
Right. And so maybe we should say, maybe instead of saying, hey, they shouldn't play Ohio State, maybe we should say, you know what, I think the best thing to do is not put in James Madison or what other dump truck team made it. Because if those teams aren't a factor, and by the way, they're not a factor in the real world. They are a factor in the fact that we have to factor them into what we're factoring, but they're not a factor in winning the whole thing. James Madison ain't winning it. And
it's how insane the whole format is, Luke, because we could just say Texas wasn't in because they chose to schedule Ohio State and lost, and they don't put the 12 best teams in the playoff.
Correct.
And those two things together are true, and it makes for some insanity.
So we're going to expand to 24, and then everybody goes, phew, finally, we'll get some little guys, get some more representation. Why do you want that? You don't watch the games. It's so funny. Guess what? If Alabama had played, or Oregon, let's say Oregon had played, or not Oregon, let's say Texas had played James Madison in the regular season, instead of Ohio State, you go, well, they're just copping out. They're scared of Ohio State. They don't play any big competition. Yet we want to put that same James Madison team in the deadgum playoffs. That's what bothers me. When we go to 24, let's for real this time, not screwing around because we have screwed up everything else. Let's try and get the 24 best.
24 best teams.
Now, there's going to be some arguing at the end of the tail.
It won't be that.
I understand that. You can't stop it. But this automatic group of 5 or group of 6, whatever the hell they're called, that's just stupid. It's not fair. When we play them in the playoffs, you're like, well, they deserve a chance. When we play them in the regular season, why are you playing that dented soup can? I mean, it's the same team.
What would happen about the group of 6? I've been giving this a lot of thought lately because I used to be against a group of 6 playoff, and now I'm starting to be sold on really liking it. What if an FCS team, let's say North Dakota State, who's now, I know they're not FCS anymore, but let's say they'd continued as FCS. There's been some years that North Dakota State team was really good. I am not saying among the 12 best college football teams, but point being, that FCS North Dakota State team is better than a lot of FBS teams.
Sure.
They beat a lot of FBS teams. So they could beat teams higher in their division. I guess my point is this. No one ever said anywhere that an FCS team should be considered, no matter how dominant North Dakota State was. Was anyone ever arguing that undefeated North Dakota State team should have been the one in the 12-team playoff? I don't think anyone would ever make that argument anywhere. Why? Because they have their own division. And I think that's kind of the way we should look at the G6. They do have their own division, and they can compete for a championship there. I just think that, I don't know, I'm sure there's a financial element to it where they think, where a Southern Miss believes, hey, if we just turn completely separate, we're out some money. That may be the case. I wouldn't be educated enough on it to know.
Look, it's just funny to me, again, Danny Cannell gets under my skin, and I guess that's what he's paid to do, and he does a damn good job of that. Because this morning he was like, well, the expansion, I don't really mind it. He said, what bothers me is it may just be an excuse to get more brand name teams in. Yeah, Danny. Yeah. You mean the teams that spend the most and care the most and try the hardest and get the best players? Yeah, those are the ones we want to see.
And they're probably the best teams. Probably the best teams.
The best teams? Yeah, you mean we're going to try and get the best teams, not, again, no. Somebody else said, it was funny on an Auburn message board, somebody posted, hey, Alabama's canceling Oklahoma State for, get this, Georgia State. Number one, Georgia State's been better than Oklahoma State last 2 years, I'd be willing to bet. Number two, that's not fine. And most of give Auburn credit, most of their posters were like, yeah, that's kind of not what's going on here. And by the way, if Auburn decides, hey, we're going to play Notre Dame and, I don't know, Wisconsin in the same year, I'm going to call us stupid too. Yeah, instead, I want to play Notre Dame or Wisconsin and then play a couple of dented soup cans. That's what I want to do. So, and everybody sort of was on board with that. And I think we all are on board with that. And I think we'd all be on board with, okay, we're in a NFLizing this thing so fast. We're all on board with saying, you know what, get all the Georgia States and the whoever else is out of the mix. We're going straight, the top 48 earners are going to get to do this thing. And yeah, we'll still have an SEC barely. We'll still have a Big Ten barely. And we're not going to do a conference championship, which they're going to get rid of that, which I think sucks. It sucks for the SEC, for nobody else. I mean, no, SEC is the only one that cares about it. And then we're going to do like the NFL does. Yeah, there'll be some teams who are, I guess, 6-6 that'll get in the playoffs. And then for me, that'll suck because that's not what college football is about. But we can't half-ass NFLize this thing. That's what I think we're seeing. Yeah. You can't be the NFL with 134 teams.
No. And, one final point about the math, when people like, well, you have 135 teams, 24 teams make the playoffs. I mean, look at the NFL. The NFL, look how many teams make the NFL playoffs out of 32 teams. The same percentage. It's not like you're putting 50 or 60 teams in the playoff, which will be the equivalent of the NFL. That means you're lumping in the SEC teams with the MAC teams.
Yeah.
There's only 40 or 50 teams at best, probably 40, that actually have a chance to win the national championship. And now you're putting 24 of them in the playoff. So it's not the same. And we should, like you said, Luke, you said it best. I mean, you can't do to college football we've done the NFL because it's radically different sports in every way. And a radically different format. But I hate the 2014 playoff, but it's coming. It's coming. And it's a good thing it's coming because I've been very critical of keeping that Ohio State game if it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I guess that is the only good thing about it is that we do get these matchups again. The only problem is these matchups used to mean everything. Now they're sort of like, I mean, yeah, you can drop it. I mean, and again, that's the root of college football to me, where every game meant something and you have all these bragging rights. Do you ever hear somebody a Jets fan saying to a Dolphins fan, we beat the Dolphins 2 years in a row, baby, four straight? Nobody cares. Did you win the Super Bowl?
They haven't released the NFL schedule yet, but I believe one thing that is released is the very first game of the season is going to be the Seahawks versus the Bears on a Wednesday night. Seahawks versus Bears. Let me tell you. Should Bears fans, let's say the Seahawks win, they'll be favored. If the Bears lose, will the Bears fans be devastated on Thursday? No.
And I know we're going long. We're going to keep going long for a minute because I got to say, see, that's the whole thing. Some people will go, Danny Cannell's argument is, well, every loss shouldn't be that. But that's what made it.
What made it great.
Say you want all the passion and then say, well, every loss and every win shouldn't count that much. That's where the passion comes from.
It's what made college football great in the first place.
Oh,
it's what made college football great in the first place. Was
damn it, Cannell,
being devastated after a loss. Now it's just A shrug. Oh, well.
Exactly. I mean, that's the
We'll
thing.
play again next week.
You dang right it's supposed to mean that much. We're supposed to be irrational. So anyway, all right. Rouge yet. The NHL playoffs are here, where every shift matters, every moment is intense, and the pressure is at its highest. Talk about your team or the playoffs. I'm not supposed to read that.
Talk about it. It's like,
I'm so dumb. I'm
Hi.
so focused on the. All right. And
my
just
name
like
is my name is
performance
insert
matters
your
on
name here.
I insert your name. I insert your name. And just like performance matters on the ice, it matters off the ice too. That's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette offers treatments designed to help you get ready and stay ready when it matters. Their top option, Rougiette Ready, combines clinically proven ingredients in a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. It works fast, often in about 15 minutes, and can last up to 36 hours. Call a friend, y'all. And they also offer Go Long, designed to help you with both performance and control. It's all about confidence and feeling like yourself again. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rougiette Performance, medicine for men. That's right. Jimmy Stein guarantees it. And if it's not working out, give Jimmy a call, but it'll be working out.
We come up with taglines for these things, going for Rougiette.
Yeah.
Take this pill, you're in the playoff too.
And this is a playoff you definitely want to be in. And it's an expanded playoff.
Oh, crap. James Madison's here too.
That's the thing. Man, we got all of Alabama working in James Madison. This is going to take forever. It's going to take way past the second week in January.
Certainly going to take 36 full hours.
So that doesn't even include commercials. All right, Bear Fretwell. That's your countdown
yes.
member. It is positive because Bear Fretwell is the first scholarship guy we're about to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I guess if Bear wanted to use it as motivation, you have him as the last scholarship guy to talk about.
Well,
too.
I'm gonna explain myself there. Now, first of all, I'm just so excited that the real countdown has begun. We're 89 days to the start of camp, and it was 89 scholarship players to talk about. So I'm so excited that each day we get to talk about a player on the team that we all know to some extent. And it's a ranking. Sure, it's a ranking, and everybody should take that somewhat seriously. But really, it's just an excuse to kind of celebrate a new player every day. So this is really, to me, more of a celebration than a ranking that matters. But the reason I have Bear Fretwell last is just simply the nature of what I'm ranking here. The best players on the team this fall, not the 89 players and their talent levels and where I would rank the talent level of all 89. It's the best. The guy that's going to be at number one is the guy I'm telling y'all will be the best player on the team this fall. Bear Fretwell's down here at 89 because we're probably not going to see much of him this fall. Bear was injured in January and in one of these all-star games. It was a pretty bad injury too. Tore his ACL. I think he had a femur issue on top of it. So Bear, I think best case scenario with him is he's cleared for football activity sort of late October, and he's a true freshman, and he wasn't here in the spring. If redshirting was still a thing, and we know that's another rule that's about to go out the door with the expanded playoff. If redshirting was still a thing, this is a lock to redshirt. A lot or most of the players down here at the very bottom of the ranking will be players that I think we'll see very little of this fall. That's the players at the bottom. That's why Bear's at the bottom. The irony to putting Bear at the bottom is this is actually a guy I'm really high on. For all of our quote lower ranked signees in this past class, Bear might be my favorite of all of them in terms of a guy I would really bet on being a good player long term. Now, I do think with him, it's going to take a hot minute, and now he's got the injury to bounce back from. I would sort of look at Bear Fretwell as a really good bet in about year 3 or year 4 to become a thing. I love the tools. A couple things about the tools people might not know. Everybody wants to run the ball better, right? This dude's playing in a triple option offense. He did nothing but run block. He's a run blocking fiend. He run blocked so well, his team actually lined him up at tight end pretty frequently. Playing tight end in a wishbone set, you're going to run it to his side, he'll cave in half the defense. That's why they lined him at tight end. So he's a run blocking fiend. But his tools and length indicate, with some coaching and training, he's probably going to be pretty good in pass pro too. The guys that are great at both, they tend to do things like play in the NFL. So I like Bear Fretwell's upside tremendously. My concern or fear is that, hey, it might take 3 or 4 years. So I hope he's still here, in year 3 and year 4 and doesn't lose patience. Because I think with him, it is going to take a minute. He's young too, reclassified kid, and he's hurt, and he's playing a developmental position. I would just say, hey, man, I've been around the sport a long time. You're probably not going to fully arrive at this level until year 3 or year 4. So be patient, but the upside is tremendous. And I would say that there's a good chance he's a future starter at Alabama. But for purposes of our roster ranking, which is concerning this fall, we'll have him here at 89.
Softball note very quickly. Alabama plays Florida in the semifinals today. Congrats to them. And hey, congrats to Georgia, their softball team. They were down 4-0, so I wasn't going to watch it. I was just like, that's over. I mean, you get down 4-0 to Oklahoma, you think it's over. Yep. Georgia won 13-5 or something. So, I mean, they were 10-5 or something, whatever it was. It was big. And so now
unbelievable.
Georgia, Texas, again, and Bama, Florida. Those are the 2 semifinal matchups. And it could be Bama, Texas. I mean, look, I'm not discounting Florida totally, but Auburn had them on the ropes, and this isn't a very good Auburn team. So I'm feeling like Alabama should beat Florida today, and my guess is Texas wins. So Bama, Texas for the title, pretty big deal. So Alabama, if they win the SEC tournament, they might end up with the number 1 overall seed.
Number 1 overall seed, which is good in terms of who you're playing in the regional and who you're playing in the super regional. So it does matter. And they are playing for seeding, and that does matter. But my shout out for softball, because we got to keep this real short, but my shout out is Jocelyn Briski. Briski's been a significant pitcher for Alabama since her freshman year. She's now a junior. She was good as a freshman. Last year sort of became the ace of the staff and was fine. She was fine or even good, but not like she is this year. I think it's awesome that Jocelyn Briski has become the best pitcher in this league. She's going to be named SEC Pitcher of the Year, I believe, today. Best pitcher in this league, in the best league in the country, and now a junior. And with the new rules, we get Briski for 2 more years, assuming she wants to stick around. I believe she will because her younger sister, Ava Briski, was signed as part of the last recruiting class. She'll be on the team next fall. So we'll have Jocelyn, who will be a 4th-year player, Ava, a 1st-year player. Ava's going to be a hitter, by the way, not a pitcher. But boy, Briski, just fantastic again yesterday, holding Arkansas number 1 in the RPI to 1 run over 7 innings. Great job, Joss.
Briski sounds like the name of a grizzled old veteran in the police department that is like this far away from retiring, and he's always on the edge, and he's kicking off the lieutenant all the time. But
like Abe Vigoda on Barney Miller. That's some way back.
That is a way back. I was thinking on the way
he was
to the
hilarious
house today before doing the pod. I was like, I wonder if Jimmy and I should do like a public service announcement for people who listen. We encourage everybody to go watch every show from the 80s and 90s before you listen to this podcast,
so you can understand.
You can understand what the hell we're talking about. All right,
because I just sent dozens of 20-year-olds to Google going, Abe Vigoda. Did he make that up? I think he made that up. That's not a real name.
So I'm going to go back to the scheduling thing for a second because I'm really passionate about it because I'm big on it. I love the fact that Alabama basketball plays such a difficult schedule, but I think there's a different reason I love it. First of all, yes, the big out-of-conference games don't matter as much, but what I think they do is they season you for the tournament. I think playing, Gonzaga and UConn and Houston and the non-con is huge because it gets you ready for tournament type stuff. Whereas if you play a bunch of dented soup cans in basketball, by the time you get to the tournament, you're going to face one of those rough and tumble teams and they're going to beat your brakes off. Now, so I looked at Alabama's upcoming schedules. And so obviously next year, 2027, Marshall and Ohio State, I'm fine with that. And they'll probably put, some other dump truck in there. I'm fine with that. That's in fact, I think that's quite awesome. 2028 is Georgia State, Ohio State, and UT Martin. Again, love it. I'm cool with it. And 2029 should have been or was going to be at Notre Dame and Oklahoma State at home. I'm glad that we've gotten rid of Oklahoma State. Now we only have Notre Dame. In 2029, we'll have 2 other bad teams. Then 2030 is at Georgia Tech and Notre Dame. Here's where things get sticky. What it tells me is Alabama's probably either going to move or get out of that Georgia Tech thing and have Notre Dame only in 2030. And then you'll have potentially Boston College in 2031 and Boston College on the return trip 2034, because it's supposed to be Boston College and Georgia Tech in 2031. So I don't think there's going to be any of these things, especially not 2032. Listen to this. In 2032, we're going to have Arizona, USF, and at Minnesota. That just ain't happening.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why they make these schedules so far in advance. And one thing I thought we would learn from COVID that we didn't apply, COVID allowed teams to show how possible it was to schedule the game quickly, that they don't have to be so far in advance, that you can actually schedule a game really very quickly and make it happen. But we've turned into, I don't know why, sometimes things are just, quote, always done that way. Like, well, this is how it's always been done. That's not a good enough answer anymore. That
Bruce Hornsby tried to tell us that a long time ago.
He did. That's just the way it is. And Bruce was right. Hey, one point I wanted to make about the the basketball non-conference versus football non-conference. Here's the thing. I trust the committee. The basketball committee rewards teams for playing really tough non-conference schedules. The football committee punishes you for it. There's a dramatic difference. And I know a lot of people say that's not true. It is true. It is true. And I don't buy it. And I watch that committee. I've seen every ESPN ranking show that's ever been. I've watched every one of them. So that committee, I have no trust in the football committee. I have 100% trust in the basketball committee and how they operate.
No, I'm with you on that too. But I do hate to do something like it comes down to now Boston College and Georgia Tech may not be an either or, because for whatever reason we were going to play Boston College at home in like 2031 and then on the road or vice versa in 2034. So we couldn't do back-to-backs. But if it came down to it and you're trying to choose between, okay, are we going to keep Georgia Tech or are we going to keep Boston College? I understand a lot of people may want to keep Georgia Tech just because there was a rivalry at one time and Georgia Tech was in the SEC and it may mean something to a lot of people and the proximity is great. I'm sort of down with playing Boston College. We also had a rivalry with them, at least a short-lived one, at one time. And I look at it like, hey, you get to play an ACC team. That's your Power 4 team. They're not great. They ain't going to be great. I don't care what happens between hither and yon.
It's a cool road trip. It's a cool road trip.
And a cool road trip. So, I mean, like I've been to Atlanta. Hell, I've been to a Georgia Tech game. Not Georgia Tech, Alabama, but I've been to a Georgia Tech game in Bobby Dodd Stadium. Now, the other thing it could be setting up is we may be doing this Florida State, Georgia thing where Florida State and Georgia said, okay, we're not doing our home and home. We were going to start next year. And everybody goes, well, that sucks. And it does suck. But instead, they're going to do something where they do a neutral site game, and they're probably going to find a way for Amazon or Netflix or Hulu or somebody to carry it and get paid a gazillion dollars. And if you're Alabama, you say, yeah, that's what we want to do. I know it sucks that we may not get some good teams at home again. Just when it looked like we were going back to home and homes, the script got flipped. But do you want to win games? Or do you want to go to Tuscaloosa? I want to win games. So, and if I want to win games, then I got to have the money to pay the players. And that means we have to look at new revenue streams. And that means we may be playing on Amazon at 2:30 in the morning in Japan. And I don't care as long as they're paying us enough.
Yeah. But how many colleges are in Boston? There's
God, isn't it the most college?
It's Boston College
city in the country or something.
Boston College, BU. Is Harvard. UMass there? Harvard. UMass? It's got to be close to there.
No, it's at Amherst, right?
But is Amherst a Boston suburb? See, I wouldn't even know because I'm that dumb. It just reminds me of one of the best lines from the original Spinal Tap movie. They got they got canceled in Boston. They're like, we got canceled in Boston. I'm like, poor ticket sales. And the manager said, "Don't worry about that. It's not a college town."
Was that before or after he tried to go through the metal detector with the zucchini wrapped in tinfoil in his hat.
I'm not sure, but boy, that scene.
That's just a great movie.
Yeah, well,
anywho.
we said we'd promise to make everyone watch the 80s and 90s TV shows and movies. There you go again.
Yeah, it's on y'all now. We've given you the assignment. It's up to you to understand it. All right. That's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back Sunday with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.